All right, Colin, today we have the 2021 Mazda CX-30, and it's a pretty nice SUV, but it's a pretty small SUV for 35 grand.
I mean, Jake, have you seen this red? I would be willing to pay 35 grand for almost any car that came in this absolutely stunning red.
That's true. It's better than Ferrari. It's better than Ferrari red. Guys, if you take one thing away from this video, it should be this color. But you know what? There's a lot more to this car. I say we jump in. Let's take a look.
Let's get into the front of this vehicle. Of course, you're gonna have LED everything for the headlights. That means daytime running lights and just normal headlights. One thing Jake pointed out that is a bit unique to the front of the Mazda is this little indentation leaving this overhang, which we both personally think looks very good, especially with this chrome. And of course, when you're looking at the front of a Mazda, you can't help but notice the Mazda smile, which is on almost all Mazdas. It is really how the owner of this car would feel being in a vehicle in this stunning red. Let's move along to the side of the vehicle. You have these 18-inch black alloy wheels. They have a very sporty look and tie in well with this black trim that goes along the bottom of the vehicle. Moving up, you have your mirrors, which have the piano black on the top. These are not power folding, but they are heated, and they do have the blind spot monitor. As you move along to the roof, you have this very low profile roof rack. It comes a lot lower than a lot of other vehicles. That does give the vehicle a very clean look, and I am a fan of it. You also have a proximity key, so if the car is locked and you approach it with the key, it will unlock, so you can easily pull the door open. And of course, lastly on the side, you will get to notice this red, Soul Red Crystal Metallic color, which might be one of the stupidest names for one of the best colors out there. Moving along to the back of the CX-30, you do have these nice LED taillights as well as the dual exhaust. Overall, I think all the details on the back really make this one of the vehicle's strong suits. You can hold the key to open the back. It is powered, which is very nice to see. You do have this little, I guess, grocery cover in the back. It is a bit cheap feeling, but if you don't want it to come up with the back, you can use these latches to bring it down. One interesting thing about the back, specifically with the subwoofer, is that it is located in the middle of the spare tire. And if you get a closer look in this compartment, there's not a lot of space, so that's really the only place they could have fit it. Of course, with these seats up, you have about 20 cubic feet of storage space. And if you want to move these back, it can be a bit hard to reach, but you do have to lower this in order to get the best chance, and then you can press a button on the seat to push it forward. If you move both seats down, that'll give you about 45 cubic feet of storage space. Under the very heavy hood of the CX-30, you'll find the 2.5-liter Skyactiv G turbo engine. This engine is going to produce about 227 horsepower with 310 pound-feet of torque. This is going to get you about 22 miles per gallon on the city and 30 on the highway. As for the transmission, it is also called the Skyactiv system. It is a 6-speed automatic transmission. As for the safety features of the CX-30, it is worth mentioning this vehicle is 5-star safety rated. It has a lane departure warning system, lane keep assist, Mazda radar cruise control with stop and go, and rear cross traffic alert, as well as an anti-theft engine immobilizer.
All right, let's get into the CX-30. Here is your key. It's very plain. All the buttons are on the side. To open the door, just put your hand on the handle. That proximity key is going to do its job. Getting in is nice and easy. You're really not that high up off the ground. Door has a decent thud to it. Let's turn the vehicle on. Now, I just want to give you all a little bit of a point of view of this vehicle so you can see what it is like to drive. And there is lots of beeping when you first get into this vehicle. Let's put our seatbelt on just so it's not beeping or anything like that. Looking around, you can see that you have a really great forward sight line. You have that really short front end and you don't have any big haunches. It's a nice smooth slope. That's going to result in really great forward viewing angles. Now, it's not quite the case looking to the rear 3/4. You can see Colin out there. You have a pretty small window back there. It could be a little hard. However, you do have that blind spot monitoring system. That's going to help take care of that problem just a little bit. Let's take a bit of a deeper dive now, look at some of the interior design elements. it comes to interior touches, they did a pretty good job on this vehicle. Almost everything here is soft touch. Your entire dash area up here is soft touch. You have the brown leather with the white contrast stitching, which gives a really sharp look. It's a really smart looking interior, a really premium design, and it should be. For 35 grand in an SUV of this size, you would expect a very premium finish and design. Mazda's trying to carry that through their entire lineup. It's definitely showing. Your air vents right here have some great silver streaking to them, breaking up that leather material. The one complaint comes to the architecture of the vehicle. You can see right here, you have kind of an abrupt finish. It just kind of stops right from your radio and AC controls, and then you have the screen just set so far back. We'll talk about your infotainment screen in just a second. It just creates a really odd look, I feel like, in this area of the vehicle. However, they use some really great materials, and I think the rest of the interior has a pretty handsome design. Let's talk infotainment. Here you can see you have just a menu and the time. It would be nice if you had the weather, maybe something like a map there, just a little more information density, but I get the minimalist approach. Now, let's take a look at how you control the system. It is not a touchscreen. Instead, you're using a knob with shortcuts for music, map, home, and a back button. Now, something important to note is this knob moves forward, back, left, right, and it turns and presses in. You'll see why that's an issue in just a second, but let's move back up to your screen here. You can see that it has some very basic menus. For example, you have a fuel efficiency monitor. This is pretty much as advanced as it gets in this system, but that's not too big of an issue because this vehicle really isn't billed as a tech marvel. It's more about the refinement, and that's where Mazda has succeeded in many ways. Now, I want to show you the navigation system. Here's where the knob becomes problematic. I can move the map forward, back, left, right, but I can't move diagonally. You can only go up and to the side because the knob only moves in those four directions. It doesn't have a diagonal, which kind of is a problem if we want to look at like this IKEA, for example, which weirdly enough is the only 3D building in this area on the map. Kind of strange, but also kind of cool. Going back with your home button shortcut, you can see that you have some very basic rotating map options right there. But what this screen will mostly be used for probably is the radio, which we can't play for you because YouTube rules, but we do have the camera right here. And this is a great screen for a camera, very high definition. You can see we have guidance right here. We have a 360 camera along with that forward facing camera that we have up right now. If I put the car into reverse, the backup camera would come up. If I hit the camera button again, we'll actually get just the sides of the car so you can make sure you don't curb your wheels. Really cool features from Mazda here. This vehicle does have a heads-up display. You can see it's displaying 0 miles per hour right now. It is a very clear display when you're moving along, pretty hard to miss. It is a great feature to have. Love the heads-up display. Here you have physical HVAC controls. Having the metal bar across really helps break up the black, and it gives a really great look to the vehicle. You do have a heated steering wheel. You also have heated seats in this particular model. You can see that all of your climate controls are very simply laid out. You have these knobs right here, which have some nice texturing to them. You'll be able to turn them with gloves. The one thing is they kind of shake around. They don't feel like they're in there very firmly. That's a bit of a problem. Also a little bit of a problem, you only have one USB-A port here and no wireless charging. For about 35 grand, it would be nice to see 2 USB ports or maybe some wireless charging. You have a big cubby space back here. You do have 2 cup holders with the little nubs that I love to hold in your drink no matter the size. And then you have this piano black center area. It does have sort of like a fake carbon inlay. It's not carbon, it's got sort of a weave design to it though, with a black overlay to it. It looks sharp, it will get dusty, so if you're a clean freak, just be aware of that. We have an electronic parking brake along with a sport mode, and then these are the buttons we saw earlier that control your infotainment system. Now let's talk center console. You have that brown leather with the white stitching that we see up on the dash. There are a few problems with the design here though. First of all, there's a little latch right here. You would expect to pull this latch and open the cover. Not the case. You pull this latch, nothing happens. Yeah, and I could see someone breaking this if you had someone else driving your car by trying to pull up on this. First, you have to actually push it back. But this presents another problem. If you have someone sitting in the back, and this happened to us, you're gonna jam their knee when you push it back if you're not careful. Just something to keep in mind. But once you do that, you can open the center cubby and you'll see you have a decent amount of space for an SUV of this size. You have another USB-A port along with a cigarette lighter outlet. Now you all join me in the rear of the Mazda CX-30. Back here, legroom is good. I'm 6 feet tall, and this is where I would sit if I was a passenger. So you could probably fit 2 6-foot-tall adults back here, but you're not gonna be able to stretch out, so maybe not for long trips, or at least take constant breaks. You do have 2 air vents back here. It would be nice to see chargers back here. Again, we only have those 2 USB-A ports up front, not even any USB-C or anything like that. That would be really nice to have back here. You do have a little center cubby. You can open up, that unveils 2 cup holders with little rubber nubs to hold your drink in, no matter the size. Overall, I think they did a decent job with the rear. Just make sure that you're gonna bring a power bank back here. So, the Mazda CX-30, it's a car for your grandma. And we don't mean that in a bad way. We love our grandmas here at Gas Guzzlers. Colin, are you thinking the same thing?
Yeah, Jake, I definitely picked up the same fact about this vehicle. It's a smaller vehicle, but it has enough space to fit small things, your groceries, maybe a few extra people if you need to take some friends to bingo night. But it also handles like a small car, so it can get in and out of, say, a retirement home. Overall, the size of this vehicle is perfect for that. Just enough space to fit certain things, but not too big that it'd be oversized or hard to maneuver. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, comment down below what you think of it, and we'll see you next time.